All right, we've got a game at noon, my time, 3 o'clock Eastern. So since I have to go to bed pretty quick here, the odds of me being up, being able to put up a preview and have it up in enough time before that game starts to make it worthwhile having the preview up, I have to stay up late and do it tonight, which means on the East Coast, people are going to be like, wow, it's 6 a.m. and I'm getting a notification. Wow, Shannon's up late. Yes. Totally, completely worth it on the entertainment guy. I'm going to upload. I did do the phone thing. I don't agree with doing it at concerts where you hold your phone up and you record. I think that's stupid. But when Pac AD played my favorite song from them, I jumped up on a bench that was in the corner of the pub and I filmed them. So I'm going to upload that to the entertainment guy page. 100% worth it. As tired as I am right now, as much as my ears are ringing, 100% worth it. Um, and some other fun stuff was going on during that too. So, yeah, let's just go ahead and jump in now with Carolina and Washington. So, yeah, this is a 2-2 series tie. Now, for Washington, until you lose at home, you haven't really lost yet. And if you're Washington, you have to be looking around the league and seeing a lot of teams losing at home. Boston did it tonight. Calgary did it tonight. So, for Washington, and you know what's funny? Teams started losing at home again after I stopped tracking it. I'm like, it looks like home teams are fine. No. I'll start getting that data again once the first round's all wrapped up. We'll figure out exactly how home teams did. And not only that, but if the top seeds did better at home or the lower seeds did better at home. I have a funny feeling I know the result of that one already, even though this round isn't over yet. So with this series at 2-2, Washington, they have to win. There's no option here. And it feels like there's some momentum for Carolina. Now, Warren Fogle, who may be public enemy number one in Washington, I got to be honest, that Oshie hit, I don't think it's a suspension either. I think it's an unfortunate position Oshie was in. It was an awkward way he hit the boards. It was ugly. He's going to be out for a while, but I didn't see it as suspension worthy. And I know Doug McLean talked about it after the game, said maybe he'd get a game for it. I can understand why he didn't. It's one of those. Do you suspend him because somebody got hurt? Because there's talk about that, right? But either way, Fogel's playing tomorrow. Slavin 5 assists, Hamilton with 2 goals and 2 assists. They're the leading scorers somehow with Carolina. There are 7 players with 3 or more points in Carolina, so it's been a lot of depth scoring showing up for the Hurricanes. And Hamilton and Fogle lead the team with a +4 in this series. Dougie Hamilton having an amazing series, while Sebastian Aho has been kind of quiet. So with Aho and Teravainen kind of quiet, Hamilton's been pretty fantastic. On the Washington side of things, Backstrom and Ovechkin are leading the team in points with 4. Backstrom 3 goals and an assist. Ovechkin with 2 goals, 2 assists. There are only 4 players with 3 or more points for Washington, so it's a little more problematic. The team leader in plus minus is actually Tom Wilson at a +3. That surprises me a little bit, but Wilson's not a bad player defensively. Now, if we look at the goaltending, the biggest surprise in this series is probably the fact that Mrazek is out dueling Holtby. Remember, going into the playoffs, I said, well, it looks like Braden Holtby's up to being that playoff level. Mrazek's at a 919 right now. Holtby's at a 905, and I'm not trying to throw shade at Holtby. It's just when they made their run to the Cup last year, there were some rounds where Holtby was just absolutely fan-flippin-tastic. And he made saves that, you remember the save against Vegas, and we haven't seen that as much in this series so far. So we'll see if Game 5 brings us back the Stanley Cup champion Holtby, or if it's kind of middling results we see. And again, that's not always a reflection on the goaltender. It could be a reflection on the blue line. And again, I'm not trying to throw shade anywhere. It's one of those things. You notice when the stats are down. All right, that being said, moving along. Dallas. Dallas is in an unusual position here that they're tied in a series with Nashville. And honestly, to me, Nashville's a better team. And I'm not saying that to be coy or pull any kind of hockey powers on anybody. I think Nashville's the better team. They really need to assert themselves tomorrow. And they need to figure out Bishop. And no, Jeremy Roenick, injuring Ben Bishop on purpose, that's kind of a lousy way to look at it. If you haven't seen him saying it, he did. Klingberg, 5 assists for him to lead the Dallas Stars in scoring. Who knew? Only 4 players with 3 or more points for Dallas. It has not been a startlingly great series for Dallas offensively. It has been the Ben Bishop show. Klingberg also leads the team in plus minus with a +4. John Klingberg, very good playoffs. And overall, Dallas really playing quite well. And we'll see how things work. On the Nashville side of things, you've got 7 players with 2 points. That's your leading scorers for Nashville. There isn't any one player that's been a standout offensively, which is great when you're winning, but when you're not, you're looking for that one big guy. There's 9 players with 1 point, and somebody with 0 points is Victor Arvidsson. And I keep waiting for Arvidsson to wake up, but he's scoreless through 4 games so far. We'll see if Game 5 is his game. And it's weird because Arvidsson came to light for me back in, I want to say 2016 when this channel was starting out. And he didn't score a lot of points that year, didn't score a lot of goals, but I said, this kid works really hard and he's a really good player, and I think there's a lot more offense there. Right now, he is actually offensively less effective than he was in those 2016 playoffs, and Nashville really needs a big game from him tomorrow. Yarncroke leads the team in plus minus with a +3, and he's had a very good series defensively, and this has kind of been a big coming out party for him. Bishop has a .942 save percentage. Yeah, it's been great, but don't just run him over to get him out. And then the other problem is Hudobin's not a bad backup either. So it's not like with Hudobin, it's a huge step backwards. Rene, .902 save percentage. He got kind of roughed up in that last game. Saros has a .952. I haven't looked. I can't see them not going with Rene for Game 5. That would be kind of ridiculous. Rene, he does get pulled in the playoffs. He usually has that bounce back game after. I expect a bounce back game tomorrow. I expect the Nashville crowd to be behind him, to be behind Nashville, to be very loud and boisterous. It's normally the way they do things. And I expect Rene to have a pretty solid game. For Dallas, it's going to be overcome those first few minutes. That first 5 minutes at home, you're probably going to get swarmed in Nashville. Tune out the crowd. Don't pay any attention to whatever the crowd's chanting at whoever or whenever. And, get a lead coming out of the first period, and you have an excellent chance. Nashville's looked vulnerable. And while I still think they're the better team, Dallas being tied at 2 right now, I'm just really proud of them where they're at. We'll see if they can continue making me proud tomorrow. I'm pretty sure they will. It's not like I'm not proud of Boston despite them being behind 3 games to 2. They've had a very good series. Just Toronto's outplayed them. All right, and last up, speaking of being outplayed, the Winnipeg Jets are in against St. Louis. And there's a really funny GoFundMe that's been started to talk Jordan Binnington into retiring. The idea being, we'll just raise a bunch of money. Here's some money. Why don't you quit and go do something else with your life? It is one of the most creative ideas for GoFundMe I've seen. Kudos. That being said, St. Louis is up 3 games to 2. Binnington is not retiring no matter how much money that GoFundMe raises. And he's played well. His numbers overall haven't been great, but if you look per game, in each game, he's had 4 out of 5 of the games have been excellent, and that 5th game, St. Louis fans will tell you the defense let him down. Now, this is a series where no home team has won. That's a problem. And we'll see if St. Louis can win at home tomorrow. If St. Louis doesn't win at home against Winnipeg, Game 7, I have no idea. So Byfuglien, 1 goal, 5 assists, leads the Jets in scoring with 6 points. Connor, 3 goals, 2 assists. Scheifele, 2 goals, 3 assists. And Wheeler has a goal and 4 assists. But there's only 6 players with 3 or more points. So outside of those 4, there's only 2 more players that have 3 points. Top-heavy scoring for Winnipeg. When you shut those guys down, you can beat them. Byfuglien leads them in a plus-minus category with a +4. He's had an excellent playoffs. Don't let him get things going, or Game 6 can get out of control. Now, on the St. Louis side, it's interesting. Pietrangelo still leads them in scoring with 5 assists. Yep. And they've got 5 players with 3 or more points. So, it hasn't been an offensive storm for St. Louis. They've just been very smart and they've known, they've picked their spots. I mean, you score with 15 seconds left in game 5. They have no chance. Barbashev and Fabry stand out to me as guys who are scoreless. Fabry, and I know people are going to say, well, Fabry, hasn't had a great year. Fabry's been very noticeable on the ice in this series, and it feels like he's due for a big game. It feels like he's due for a goal and an assist type game. And I think he's been good. I think he struggles with his confidence at this point, and I think some of his timing is a little bit shaky. I think he's due for a good game. Schwartz, Thomas, Bortuzzo, Bozak all have +2 ratings to lead the Blues. This has been a close series. I can't see St. Louis losing 3 in a row at home. I can't. Hellebuck has a .912 save percentage, and he's been good. Bennington's got a .908 save percentage. He's been pretty darn good as well. The goaltenders aren't going to wear this, no matter which way this goes. And honestly, if St. Louis knocks out Winnipeg, there's another favorite gone, huh? Like, it has been, it's been weird. There's no way around it. These playoffs have been weird. Winnipeg out, sure. Calgary out, yep. Tampa out, sure. Pittsburgh, yep. And we're looking at Nashville and Washington tomorrow night facing situations where they could technically go down 3-2 at home. Nashville's home record 1-1 in the playoffs. Washington's 2-0. They're trying to go 3-0 at home and stop this silliness of all of these favored teams going down in the first round. But if Carolina gets a win, everything goes out the window. These playoffs have been really wide open. They've been a ton of fun. I feel very, very lucky to be covering hockey right now. I feel extremely fortunate to be sharing all of these WTF moments with you. And I look forward to sharing a ton more through the rest of the first round. And the second round, just because the matchups are going to be so weird and strange, there's going to be more of them. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts and your picks for tomorrow's games. Well, today's if you're on the East Coast and you're in Europe. Hi, Europe. I don't forget you guys. I don't. I really genuinely don't. It's just if I get into all the time zones, these videos are going to get a lot longer. So there you go. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video, and hey, I love the playoffs. I really do. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.